Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah rabbil alamin arrahmanir rahim. Maliki yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdinas siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta alaihim ghayril maghdubi alaihim wa ala alihi joy from me. See, they only tell you what they want you to know. You gotta study on your own. That's only half the story, their story. His story is not our story. Secret societies and they secrets we. How everything under the heavens on the earth for we. That's only half the story, their story. I want to welcome everybody to Moorish Science Temple, Moorish National Republic. Sheik Western Parks-Bey. Islam. Islam?
Islam.
Islam?
Islam.
Islam. Islam.
Islam.
Assalamu alaikum, shalom, hotep, peace, praise the Lord. I just wanted to try to make you feel comfortable because there are those that may not be familiar with this environment and all the beautiful turbans and fezzes. But if you look back in your DNA, you will find out that you are home. I'm about to call the call of prayer, and I just want to give a brief history, just a brief, on this man named Bilal.
Yes.
Bilal, they call him Bilal ibn Rahbah, which is the Arabic little thing they put on him. But in Abyssinia, or today what they call Ethiopia, his name was Bilal Habashi. And Bilal was a Moor. He was a jet dark Moor. And he was enslaved by an Arab whose name was Umayyah. And Umayyah used to treat Bilal with the harshness and all kinds of difficulties. And one day he put rocks, he tied him to the ground and put rocks on his shoulder and on his chest in the hot blazing sun in the desert. And Bilal just kept saying, Ahad, Ahad, Ahad. And that means one. God is one. Whatever name you call this creative force, we choose to call it Allah. This creative force is called in many names. But Bilal, which is like our people today in North America, what you call it, so-called African Americans, so-called Black Americans, Bilal back then represents us today. How we are, rocks are on our chest, our hands are tied. We can't really do anything, but Bilal had a nationality. See, Bilal had a nationality. So because Bilal had a nationality, he had more self-respect and insight. He had more strength. So he was considered an Abyssinian. And in the history of Islam, it was Allah who told Muhammad to ask Bilal to be the caller of prayer on top of the Kaaba. If anybody ever understands what Hajj is, when Muslims or Muslims supposed to make the pilgrimage, Bilal was chosen to climb on top of a square cube that was built by Abraham, according to the scriptures, and he was calling the prayer. And here was these other people with other nationalities bickering about who is this jet dark person calling the prayer. See, there was racism back then.
That's right. That's right.
You gotta understand.
Right.
But Bilal was chosen to be the first human being to be the human voice to call humanity back to prayer. See, the Christians had the bell. The Jews had the ram horn. You know, Yom Kippur just passed away, you know, just passed by. And so they used instruments. But in the history of Islam, Bilal, a Abyssinian, a man with a nationality, he wasn't Negro, black, and colored. He wasn't someone that didn't know himself. When you know yourself, you got power. When you don't know yourself, you're going to be intimidated by anyone that knows your history better than you. So Bilal was chosen by Allah and Muhammad was told to call a prayer. And for thousands of years, they called this prayer that I'm about to do, this call of prayer that I'm about to do, and it was originated by a Moor.
Yes. Yes.
A Moor was the first, well, I feel like crying. Good God Almighty. A Moor was the first human being in the history of Islam to be the caller, what they call the mu'adhin of prayer. And you have to understand this. So when other Muslims or Muslims come in your direction and have this, try to intimidate you, you need to redirect them back to Bilal. Muhammad, peace be upon him. Good God. Muhammad said that he heard the footsteps. He heard the footsteps of Bilal ahead of him in paradise. What does that mean? We are the mothers and fathers of civilization. When you walk outside and you see others, those are your children. So you have to take a stand with these feathers and turbans. You have to stand up. Don't be afraid. Don't be intimidated by your Islam, your Islamism. We go back before there was a Muhammad.
That's right.
We go all the way back to Sumer.
That's exactly right.
We go back before the creation of the universe. Time was.
Never.
Time never was, man.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Time was created by certain people to limit us. Bilal, in my closing to this part, Bilal was the private secretary of Prophet Muhammad. A Moor, a jet dark man these Arabs could not take. Like they can't take you when you wake up and come into your senses. Like today, Bilal represents the persecuted Moors that are not as aware of who they are. And we have to be missionaries consecrated to go and wake them up. Bilal translated the Arabic to the Hebrew, and the Hebrew to the Arabic for Muhammad. He was his personal secretary, and he was the only one allowed to go down into the grave of Muhammad. And when Muhammad passed away and ascended, Bilal did not want to call the prayer. And it says that a man named Umar tried to call the prayer, and Allah did not hear him. Allah did not hear him. There's something about us as melanated people. Okay? You've got to understand this. This planet will cease to exist if we do not exist.
Islam?
I'm giving you actual facts. Certain creatures on this planet cannot exist with our melanin. Sisters, you are the key. You are the key. There would be no Muhammad if there was no Amina.
That's what I'm talking about.
You understand?
Islam.
Noble Drew Ali would not have come if it wasn't for the mother of Noble Drew Ali. She gave birth to that God, man. So I want you to just sit back, take a deep breath. Go into meditation and just hear me out. If I cry, don't give me no tissue right now. Give it to me after. But you have to know this history because they wipe Bilal out. Everywhere in the Islamic world, they're wiping out the African influence of Islam.
Yes.
Muhammad was given 2 Abyssinian women by his wife as tutors. 2 women, what they call Ethiopia. He was given 2 African women. And Muhammad's lineage is from Yemen, which is closely related to the Ethiopians and the Somalis. So, I call the Adhan. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu anna la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu anna la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Ashhadu anna Ali Rasulullah. Hayya al-falah. Hayya al-falah. Hayya as-salah. Hayya as-salah. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. La ilaha illallah.
All rise and face the east. East is this way. Islam. Islam. Islam.
Allah, Father of the universe, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation. By by night, and by day, through his holy prophet, Drew Ali. Amen.
His story is not our story. Secret societies and they secrets we. How everything under the heavens on the earth for we. I see a teeth with long bag. Watch them running away, what is it that they have? They got your birthrights and they got your land. They got your birthrights and they got your land. See ya.